Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Now this is Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, the latest title in the series. I've been having some fun with the multiplayer element, but during my playtime I couldn't help but wonder just how well the Athlon 3000G would handle this, if it would even start the game that is. With 2 cores, 4 threads and integrated Vega 3 graphics, which I've overclocked from 1100 to 1650 MHz on a basic motherboard and stock Ryzen cooler, this £50 or $50 processor isn't the sort of part you'd expect to be able to run a fast-paced online FPS with. But can you? Well, I let the game choose its default settings and of course it reverted to the low options with 60% scaling. This gives us a resolution of 1152 by 648. Going any lower makes your opponents increasingly difficult to see, so keeping things here isn't such a bad idea. First of all, I played Team Deathmatch on the Armada map. Here we were seeing between 30 and 40 frames per second most of the time. I didn't record any exact averages today because I wasn't expecting this result, to be honest, and as you'll see, the frame rate differs depending on which map or which game mode you are in. Plus, there was a noticeable issue that sort of got in the way and distracted me: crashing. This map crashed at about 30 seconds in. I have read about issues like this from other people online, so it's something that may get patched if it's not the 3000G causing the issues, of course. I don't think it is because this problem actually went away after a few more games, so you could call it a temperamental issue, I guess. My free-for-all game in Miami ran a bit better than Armada, but the game actually crashed about 30 seconds in here as well. Now this is a shame because this map is actually pretty fun to play. Well, they all are, to be honest, from what I've seen so far, and the game looks fairly good even with 60% resolution scale. What's even more annoying though is that it kicked me for no reason because of a really long loading screen, but I'll talk about that a little bit more later on. The next thing I did was try a bot match with the satellite map. This was after restarting the game. We were actually getting about 35 to 45 frames per second here, so the difference in performance between a bot and online match with this APU is non-existent. I was able to play through the entirety of this game without any crashes too, though I had restarted my PC as I mentioned and reinstalled the graphics drivers between sessions, so maybe that helped. Even with 60% resolution scale, the game looks pretty good, and this would certainly be a compromise I'd be willing to make if I used this chip every day and wanted to play Call of Duty. There were still a couple of problems with micro stutters every minute or so. I noticed the game would freeze very briefly for less than half a second every now and then, which can still make the difference between getting the kill or being killed. So not ideal, but it's better than say a 15 FPS experience or something like that, which is what I initially expected with this 3000G. Loading times can also be incredibly long, as I said before, and I got stuck on this screen for about 10 minutes before I got into the Miami map, where I was immediately kicked for lack of activity. I didn't even have a chance to do any activity. My internet was fine and I was using a wired Ethernet connection throughout this test, just to ensure that stability remained, well, stable. With the game seemingly crash-free after my previous reinstallation of the graphics drivers, I then jumped into another free-for-all in the Cartel map, which did even better than the previous tests with over 40 FPS most of the time. Now I found that this map also performed better than the others when it came to the beta test with the 750 Ti a while back as well, so this one obviously performs a bit better across different hardware. Now I know I'm not brilliant at this game, but I will say that the occasional dips in frame rate still prevented me from getting a couple of easy kills because typically they happened as I opened fire. Like I said though, reducing the resolution any more than this to try and get a bit more performance from the game does make the enemies harder to see, and this setting gives us a game that plays okay and doesn't look completely terrible. But there we go. If you have a cheap Athlon 3000G and you want to play the new Call of Duty, you can. Sort of. Warzone and campaign results may vary, but my SSD is getting so low on space that I only had room for the multiplayer part of the game. I think it's time to slap another storage device in my machine, to be honest. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like down below, leave a dislike if you didn't. Let me know how the game runs on your system, especially if you have what some call a low-end machine. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and hopefully I'll see all of you in the next one.